In this video, we are going to discuss how to program the product purchasing process through the PayHere payment gateway. Now we are going to purchase a product from our e-commerce web application using the PayHere payment gateway method. Now here we are not going to make a real payment. Instead of that, we are going to make a virtual payment using the PayHere sandbox method. Now PayHere have introduced a method for testing purposes known as the PayHere sandbox. So using PayHere sandbox, we can make virtual payments for testing purposes, not real purposes, payments. So that's a convenient method for a developer to check his web application, whether his web application makes the payments conveniently. Now before moving to the process of PayHere payment gateway, I'll give a brief idea about what is a payment gateway, not PayHere. There are many payment gateways like PayHere, PayPal, Google Pay. There are more payment gateway methods. PayHere is one of them. Now we are as a Sri Lankan, PayHere is the most convenient payment gateway for us to use for all Sri Lankans. For international purposes, there can be used as Alipay, PayPal, Google Pay, Apple Pay. There are lot of payment gateway methods. So as Sri Lankan users, we are going to use the PayHere payment gateway. Now we will take a look at what is a payment gateway. A payment gateway is a digital service that facilitates online transaction by securely transferring payment information from a customer to a merchant's bank or a financial institution. So it's a digital service that facilitates online transaction, only online transaction, by securely transferring payment information from a customer to a merchant's bank or other financial institution. It can be a insurance company or an investment firm or many more. So allowing for the authorization and processing of payments for goods or services purchased online. So the main purpose of the payment gateway is to securely transferring payment from customer to the merchant. Securely. Now there can be third parties waiting to attack the website or the web application. So using a payment gateway method, we can securely transfer the payment from customer to merchant. Now there are high level security used in a payment gateway services. Now like PayHere, PayPal, they are using high level security levels for maintaining the payment gateway. They are relevant payment gateway secured and safe. So that's the purpose of a payment gateway. Now it acts as an intermediary between the customer, the merchant's website, and the financial institution involved, ensuring that the payment data is encrypted and processed efficiently. So it's an intermediary between the customer, merchant, as well as the financial institution, not the merchant's website, not the merchant. Sorry. So it's an intermediary between those three main things. So it makes the payments much more safe and easier. So that's the main purpose of a payment gateway. Now we will move on to the code of our payment process. Now here the payment process starts when the Pay Now button is clicked. When the Pay Now button is clicked. When the Pay Now button is clicked, the payment process happens. Now on click, here I have given to the Pay Now button, I have given a on click a pointing device button has been pressed and released on an element. So on click pay now, and here I have sent the product ID relevant. Now relevant, here I have sent the relevant product ID of the relevant single product view page. Now here the product ID is 22. Now the 22 is sent from here. So that's how the pay now on click works. Now we will see the JavaScript side. Now in the JavaScript side, I have created a function pay now and received the ID product ID as PID. And here var quantity, I have obtained the quantity input. That means I need the input value of the quantity. So here I have taken the quantity input. Here I have mentioned the input field ID as quantity input. ID as quantity input, where this input field holds that relevant ID. So in the JavaScript side, we have obtained the ID of the quantity input as well as the value of the input field and assigned it as var quantity. And here I have created a new XML HTTP request, and here I have created an already state change and assigned the unknown function, and here I have checked whether if ready state equals 4 and ready state equals 200, and here we will discuss this. And here I created the our response text which will I receive from the server side, Here I have assigned the response text as T, and this object we will discuss after discussing the pay now process. Now before moving to pay now process, I will give an idea about the sandbox and testing. Here now sandbox and testing. This is the PayHere knowledge base. What is PayHere sandbox? Sandbox is a test environment to get used to PayHere merchant portal and test the integrations with your site. It's a separate clone of the live PayHere platform, so you can experience how exactly the live platform would look like before you apply for a live account. Are the payments actually processed in sandbox? No, none of the payments are actually processed in sandbox environment. They are stimulated to look like processed to perform the integration testing. So the main purpose of the sandbox is to test the integrations of our site, to test how our site works, how our payment works. So that's the main purpose of the sandbox. Before moving on to a live account, we can test whether our site works perfectly with the sandbox. Now if it works smoothly and perfectly with our sandbox, we can move on to the PayHere live account and make the payments easy. How to enable sandbox mode in PayHere shopping cart plugins? Now we need this, and we will discuss this how to test a payment in sandbox after discussing the pay now process, and when we are making a payment we will discuss this. Now here I have started the session and required the connection PHP file. Here I am not going to discuss about the payment connection PHP file because numerous times I have already discussed about the connection PHP file, where we have created the database connection with our web application, and here we have created two functions as IUD for insert, delete and update, and for search purposes. And here I have checked the condition whether the session new is available. If the session new is available, then here I have created a variable PIB and get the ID sent from the JavaScript. Here we are sending the ID now. Here using the get method we are sending the ID is quantity and ID and quantity we are sending to the server side, to the pay now process.php, and here we are sending it in the Ajax method. So we are receiving the PID $PID as ID, and we are receiving the quantity as quantity, and I am creating an email variable to hold the value of the email of the current user's session. That means to hold the current users email, current session users email. Here I have created a variable $array which will be linear in the latter part of the code, and here I have assigned $order ID as the unique ID. Now the order ID is equals to the unique ID which is automatically generated by the Visual Studio Code or the PHP. Here I have obtained the product result set. Select all from product where ID equals PID, and here I have directly assigned the product data as the rows removed from the product result set, or the rows fetched from the product result set. And here I have created a city result set, and here I have obtained select all from user has city where the user's email equal to the session email. So here I have obtained the city num equals city result set num rows. So city num equals the number of rows obtained from the city result set. Now if the city num equals 1, if the city num equals 1, then the city data equals city results fetched rows. Now the city data equals to the number of rows fetched from the city result. And here I have set city ID equals city data city ID, and address equals city data's line 1, and here I have within a comma I have concat a comma and city data's line 2. That means the both $address holds the values of the both address line 1 and line 2 separated by a comma. And here I have obtained the district result set. Database search, select all from city where city ID equals the city ID, that means the city ID in the district table. And here's $district data equals to district result set fetch as well. Here I am fetching the district result set and assigning it to district data. And here district ID equals to district data's district ID. And here I am setting delivery equals 0, and if district equals 1, if district ID equals 1 means if it is Colombo. Now here the district, if it district ID equals 1, that means it's Colombo. That means the $delivery equals product data's delivery fee Colombo, else delivery equals to product data's delivery fee other. That means now in Sri Lanka there are 25 districts. Now if district ID equals to 1, that means Colombo, then the delivery fee equals to delivery fee Colombo, or else the delivery equals to the other 24 district delivery fee equals to the delivery fee other. Now here I have created some more variables. $item equals product data's title, and $amount equals product data's price. Here I have before taking, I have changed the product data's price into a int, plus I have multiplied the quantity plus delivery. Now the amount equals to price plus price into quantity plus delivery. So then here I have changed all the retrieved data into int first. Here I have passed into as int the product data's price as well as the quantity and as well as the delivery. And here $fname equals to session use fname, and $lname equals to session use lname. That means current session users first name and the last name. And $mobile equals to the current session users mobile, and $u address equals to the address, that means the address we obtained from the city data. And $city equals to district data city name, that means the $city equals to district data we obtained from here. City district is obtained from the city name. And here merchant ID is generated from the PayHere sandbox. Here now merchant ID and the merchant secret both must be protected, or else there can be security issues to your payment services. You may not receive your payment even if it is success. Now this is the merchant ID relevant to my sandbox account, and this is the merchant secret relevant to my sandbox account. Now here the merchant ID is the relevant merchant ID and the merchant secret equals to the relevant merchant secret, and the currency is LKR. Here a hash is created with the merchant ID, order ID, number format, currency and merchant secret. Now what is this hash? We will see. So here this hash, $hash means this is used to calculate a hash value in PHP, typically for securing and verifying data integrity in a payment or data transfer process. So this is to integrate, verify the data integrity and in a payment. So it's a secure method, more secure. Now that's a payment gateway consists of many security measures. So this is the one of the security measures offered by the relevant payment gateway method. That means offered by our PayHere gateway method, payment gateway method. Now the resulting value in a hash is a fixed length hexadecimal string that represents a unique signature for the transaction. This hash is typically used to ensure the integrity and authenticity of the data during transmission. The receiving party can use the same algorithm shared secret and input data to calculate a hash on their end and compare it to the received hash to verify that the data hasn't been tampered with during transit. If the two hashes match, it indicates that the data is unchanged and authentic. So this is a security measure to ensure whether the sent data and received data is same. So to verify that $hash is used. $hash means this code is used. So that is the process or the function happening within the $hash. Now the array here we assign $variable array is used here. Now $array ID equals order ID, $array item equals $item, $array amount equals $amount, $array fname equals the fname. Now all the variables are used here within the array. Now $array fname equals fname, $array lname equals lname, $array email equals the $array email, the session email, and the $array mobile also equal to the $mobile. $array address equals to $u address, the address we created here, and $city equals to $city, and $array hash equals to $hash. Now we are echoing JSON encode array. Now we are sending to the server side as a JSON encode. Now what is JSON encode? JSON encode is a PHP function that converts a PHP data structure such as an array or object. Now here we are converting an array into a JSON JavaScript object notation formatted string. This JSON string can be used for various purposes, including data interchange between different programming languages and storing structured data. So here we are using for data interchange, not with different programming language, but for payment gateway process. So it is a PHP function converting a PHP data into a Java script object notation. So that is the purpose of the JSON encode. So here we are changing this $array into the JSON encode. So here we are, else now if there is no session, then here echo address array. That means if there is no session, there is address array. So now we will move on to the JavaScript side. Now now here I am creating objects. Var object equals to JSON.parseT. Now we are receiving the parse response from as the JSON object. Now here we are assigning it to as var object, and now var email object equals email, var amount equals object amount. So email and amount is equal to variable email and variable amount. So if t equals address error, window dot location equals user profile dot php. That means if there t is equals address error, means there is no the user hasn't updated his address in the our web application, because when we are user sign ups, we are not in the sign up page, we are not requiring the address, no. So user needs to update his user profile when the response text is address error. Else, now here we are moving to the payment process. So here PayHere dot onClip function onClip PayHere dot onCompleted equals to function onCompleted order ID. Before that, in the single product view, here we need to add a script at the end of the page. Here script type equals text or JavaScript, and the source is http www.payhere.lk library payhere.js. So it's a must to add the script at the end of the single product view PHP file. I forgot to mention it. So after adding those relevant script tags, now here we are moving to the JavaScript. So PayHere onCompleted equals to function onCompleted order ID. Order ID. That means we need to mention the order ID. Here order ID is passed. So console.log payment completed order ID equals plus order ID. That means the order ID. Here we are mentioning the order ID, and we are window located into invoice.php. When the payment is completed, we are locating the window. After the payment is completed, we are locating the window to the invoice.php file. Now in the payment process, we will see in our web application. Now as for now, we will discuss the code. Now if the payment window is closed, without making any payment, then here PayHere dot on dismissed equals function on dismissed, prompt user to pay again or show an array page. Here we need to show an array page or make the user to pay again. So here I have not mentioned anything as for now. So here PayHere on error. Now if an error occurred in the payment process, so here also we need to show an array page. So now we will move to the payment process, the payment code, codes related to the payment variables. So here we need to mention the sandbox. Now here sandbox true. Now this code is retrieved from the PayHere sandbox page. So you can also obtain this code from the PayHere sandbox page. These codes are not written by here. I have edited the codes related to my application, but the standard structure can be obtained from the PayHere sandbox page. So the sandbox true, merchant ID, the relevant merchant ID, return URL. After if a payment is not made, there must be a return URL. The return URL is single product view, and the cancel URL is also single product view. Notify URL, I have not mentioned the notify URL. Here order ID is the object ID. Here now we have in the array we have created no ID item, so we are using it here. Order ID, items, object ID. We need to mention object because the past option is within the object. That means the past array is within the JSON array is within this object variable. So we need to mention object and the relevant data. So object ID, items, object item, amount, the amount variable we created in above, and the currency LKR, and hash object hash, first name object fname, last name object lname, email, the email we created above, phone object mobile, address object address, city object city, country Sri Lanka, delivery address object address, delivery city object city, and delivery country Sri Lanka. And these will be empty as for now. here we need here show the PayHere.js pop-up when the pay is clicked. Now this according to my web application I don't need this, so this I have commented it. Now I'll give a summary of this code. Here I have created the summary of that relevant code. So the summary is this code setups and handles the integration of PayHere payment gateway into a web application, including handling payment completion, cancellation and errors, as well as specifying payment details and initiating the payment process. It's important to note that the actual integration may require additional server-side logic to handle callbacks and validate payments. Now this is a testing purpose payment. No, it's a virtual payment actually. So if it is a real payment, there might be requiring additional server-side logic and handle callbacks and validate payments. Now here there are some things I have not mentioned. Now here I have not mentioned on dismissed, I have not mentioned on error, I have not mentioned. So that's is the I have mentioned it here also. So I didn't give idea about JSON. No, JSON is JavaScript object notation. It is a simple and widely used data format that represents structured information in a human readable and machine readable way. It consists of key value pairs and supports various data types. Now here see name. This is a JSON JavaScript object notation. Name Alice, comma age 25 is student, true. Hobbies. Now if there are more than one, we can within a square bracket we can mention within the inverted commas. And address also we can create a different string and we can divide it to two different parts. So that is the small description about JSON. So JSON is a widely used data format that represents structured information in a human readable way and as well as a machine readable way. So it's a convenient method for humans as well as for the machines. So that's all for the payment process code. Now we will make a payment and see whether the payment is success. So now as for we can make in the testing phase, we can make only see payment limitation fees. We can make only payments. This is for actual live. We can make only payments below 45,000. We can make payment above 45,000. I will show you as well. Now here 75 by now. If I click pay now, you can see here this payment cannot be processed as the payment amount exceeds the maximum payment limit of this merchant. Please contact your merchant on this. Now for testing purposes, we can make payments above 45,000. Now I will take a product which is below 45,000. Now I'll click pay now on this fan. Now you can see the payment methods. Now we can make bank card and other payments. Now I'll select a Visa card. Now here you can mention any name. I will mention Adil, and we can mention any CVV also. You can mention any expiry date, but it must be after the current date. Now if it is September 17th, it can be September 18th but not September 17th. So I will make October 28th. Now how it is the month form? No, month form means it must be 12/25. Okay, here the credit card number, we can use the credit card number there. Here now how to test a payment on Sandbox. Now here we can use this Visa number for testing our payment. So here I can use this number, and if I click on pay, no thanks, now payment approved. Now here you can see it is directed to the invoice page. Now you in the PayHere portal, merchant portal, in the payments we can see the payment is paid. Now we made a Havels payment. No, we can see. Wait until it loads. Now here you can see Havells Fusion ceiling fan, the payment number, the date, now the date, authorized type visa and the amount. Now the payment is success. So we have used the PayHere payment method and made a payment also. So that's all for this video. Thank you. Have a nice day.